Good evening. Plenty of seats up front. Anybody want to sit up front? Hey, well, welcome to the ribbon cutting of the Roosevelt building. And we're really excited in the district. How about I do this? Is everybody okay with that? No? Okay. Thank you for sitting down front. Appreciate that. But we're really excited tonight, and I want to give you a little bit of history of how this project came about. And I'm not sure I'm going to do this or not. We okay? How the project came about, and I've enjoyed hearing some history of this building from some of you, and so continue to share that. And we'll spend a little time in here, and then you're more than welcome to go through the building. And I think you'll find it a little bit different than it was a few years ago, but very, very self-serving and serves our purpose here in the district. For those of you that don't know, I am Doug Ute, the superintendent of schools, and I'm in my 5th year here. And so if we go back about a little bit over 4.5 years ago, Mr. Alterpeter, where's Dave at? Mr. Alterpeter back here, who is our director of business affairs here in the district, that really took a big role in our building project, must have really thought something when I said, you know, Dave, I've not been in the Miller building. Can you take me through the Miller building? Because one of the first things I noticed in our district is that our professional development space was not adequate to train our teachers and those type of things. We had no space in the district where all of our 4th grade teachers could come, or all of our middle school teachers could come and share ideas and do some things from a professional development standpoint. And so Dave took me out to Miller, and we stood out there, and I'm sure that Dave thought, after 11 buildings that he's been involved in, that I must have been crazy. He's probably ready to get me in a headlock and Dutch rub me or tackle me or something when I said to him, you know, Dave, we ought to make this our ESC, and I bet you we'd probably only have to use half of it. Our ASC, not ESC. I just saw somebody sitting there. Yeah, saw the treasurer sitting here. The ASC, and take half of this building and become a tenant, and maybe the ESC or LACA or somebody would want to come join us over here. And Dave, I appreciate you not hitting me in the mouth when I brought that up with the project that we had going on. Because at that time, we had already identified that we're going to have some savings in our building project. And we're going to have a little bit of money to do something like that. Well, as time went on, we started talking and listening to our architects about this building, about how strong and sturdy this building is in our district. Well, they might say, well, this building here, you really need to tear that down because it's falling in. It's not going to last much longer. But that Roosevelt building, boy, I'll tell you, it'd be a shame to tear that down. And so we started having discussions with our Board of Education at the time and talked about, well, let's sell Miller and take that money and put it into Roosevelt. And so that's how this whole idea came about. We then approached Nelson McCray at DSC, John Bowers at LACA, started the process of talking to them about coming on board with us and sharing in some space, because all 3 organizations would improve from a space standpoint. And I'm not going to lie, I love the idea of us generating $100,000 of rental income to the district, which we weren't receiving now, or at the time, and we are receiving now. So we really like that thought. And so this building really came about as a professional development building. And I would tell you, one of my strengths, and I have many weaknesses, as the ladies would tell you, is a vision. And a lot of times in the district, I have a lot of visions, and a lot of times somebody will bump me out of the way and say, I don't think that's a very good vision. Nobody bumped me out of the way here, and I did not envision, I have to admit, I didn't envision this building to be what it is today. And the way it turned out way better than I ever thought it would. And so I want to thank a lot of people in this room today from that standpoint. If you are raise your hand if you're a current board member or a former board member in the district. Keep that hand up so I can look around here. We have some people in here, current board members, but I do want to point out Molly Ingold, Bob Handelman, Mark Christianberry, that as they sat about in this area here 3 or 4 years ago, their last meeting we had in here, and they sat in here and committed. They brought on board I think Dan and some of the others who were coming on to get their buy-in as we were transitioning into some new board members. So it was a collective effort between an old board and a new board to make sure that everybody was on board with this project. And again, the funds, no funds came out of our general fund for this project. This is the savings from our 11 building, $140 million project, and the sale of some of our properties that we put in here that can only be used for brick and mortar. And so it worked out. I don't think it could have unfolded any different for us. So I really appreciate the board's commitment to our vision and our professional development and those type of things. So let's give our board members a hand, please. Thank you. And then quickly, if you are an ESC employee, a Licking County Educational Service Center employee, please stand up. Board members from the ESC also please stand up. Now, for those that you don't, this is a service organization, and they do a very, very good job. I was so impressed when I came here, and I still am, with the services that they provide. The neat thing about this, it's an educational group coming into our facility with us and partnering. Let's give them a hand for what they do. Thank you. And again, I see a few board members. Raise your hand if you're a board member from the ESC back there. Their commitment to come in here was wonderful, and we appreciate what you guys do and your commitment to this facility. LACA, if you're a LACA employee, please stand up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Walk forward. Again, educational. John, help me out. We are at 18 schools. 18 member schools, part of LACA. One of those is the Newark City Schools, and then many other service agency that they provide from a computer standpoint, fiscal and some professional development is unbelievable. It's a great organization, and we appreciate LACA being on board with us on this project. So let's give them a hand. Thank you. And for those of you who do not know, this is a building that basically offices on the 3rd floor of LACA and the ESC, but they can also use this room here. And we have 2 rooms here, or we can, with the curtains closed, or we open it into one. Plus there's 3 rooms on the 2nd floor that all 3 groups share. And I think we've gotten off to a wonderful start in sharing these rooms. And I would tell you, about every single day, there's a group in here. LACA was in here most of the day today, using it as one room, I believe. Or there's a group in each side. So this space is getting used, and that's neat. That's why we have it. So we've worked together to share in this space, and that's going wonderful. So, okay, JBA. If you're from JBA, Mark Keith, Tom Nugent, I saw you. Okay, Tom's back here. Mark, please stand up. Tom already is. I know you guys hate this, but JBA is a local architect firm who did a lot of work on our OSFC project, and we were just tickled to keep them on this project, because this is an OSFC, so we can pick that. And so they did such a great job on our OSFC project that our board was totally on board with this group staying. I would tell you, Mark has some kids in our district, Liberty in the high school, correct? We were teasing him the other day. Most people, and now it's going to be on TV, most people don't know that back area at the high school opened up. Mark does. He zips in and out of there in the morning, and he keeps it quiet to the community, so he has his own little parking area back there. But local flavor on this project. We talked in the OSFC project, there's no way to know exactly, well, there is, but it'd take you months or maybe in a couple years to figure out the exact percentage of how much of that project was local dollars on there. And we estimate it's probably 74, 75, 76% of the project was local dollars. I bet at Roosevelt it's a lot higher than that. Am I correct in saying that? That the renovation, the 4.1, 4.2 million in this building was mostly local groups. So let's give JBA a hand for their efforts. Thank you. And when I say local, there's a group, oh, there they are in the back, Christian Robertson and his group. Raise your hands back there, fellas. The Paul family, they're all back there. Christian's company had quite a bit of business in our project, OSFC project. And I can tell you they did a fantastic job for us. And this was total bid. You know, the board couldn't just pick who they wanted. And Christian's company was a low bidder on this project. And we thanked everybody for doing it, and then we did backflips out back because we were really excited that a local company with their reputation and their fine work that they do was able to be involved in this project. And, you know, I think Christian, if he was doing work in Cleveland, his company would certainly take care of business and do it the right way. But I know they probably take an extra screw on the nuts or make sure that we're taken care of here because we can get to him real quick here in town. So let's give the Robertson Construction Company a good hand. And the good-looking young man back there with a very pretty baby, Matt Paul. I'm going to give Matt a little. He's kind of handled the tail end of this project from a construction manager standpoint. And I tell the fellas to the other side of him, that man has done one heck of a job here for us. And I slid in here Saturday morning before the auction, and he was outside here painting, he and another fella. Is he here? Nope, not here. And so, because he wanted this place looking perfect tonight. So let's give Matt an extra hand back here. Thanks, Matt. Okay, as I swing around here, I'm going to get a group before they always take off. Larry Williams, I want you to come up front, please. I asked Larry very nicely Saturday, keep coming up front, and let Larry know I want you here Monday night. Dave, please come forward with him. Dave Altapeter, please come up front. Because Larry has a tendency to just kind of disappear when it's time to recognize Larry. And Dave does the same thing. Come on over here, Dave. Yeah, see, they're trying to get to that door. I want to recognize these two. I mentioned Dave, a director here. Larry is a supervisor of our maintenance crew. And Dave, when did we hire Larry? Do you remember?
10 years ago.
About 10 years ago through this process. And I'm going to share with you. Dave dots his I's and crosses his T's for the Newark City Schools to make sure our buildings are built in a quality and timely fashion. And we appreciate, Dave, your work on this. And thanks for not smacking me in the mouth when I said, let's do a 12th building. That sounds like a good idea. But he hired Larry, and I know Dave's talked to me a lot about what Larry does for us. Larry's a very smart man with electrical things. What else are you smart about, Larry? Boilers, heat, air, the whole thing. And one of the things that impresses me about Larry is, and he has that look on his face when you make eye contact with him, because he can just see in my eyes, hey, Larry, I need you to look at this, that, and the other. But I want to tell you that Larry Williams and Dave Altapeter have saved this district so much money because Dave hired Larry, and that's Dave's job. You hire good people. Dave hired Larry, and Larry has saved us a ton of money because we don't have to hire things out, a lot of things. And if we do, they're not going to snow this man. He knows exactly what's going on. So let's give these two guys a round of applause, and thank you for what you do. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. I wanted to make sure the last time we cut the ribbon that Larry didn't sneak off on us that way. Wonderful gentleman. So. Okay. At this time, I'm just going to ask anybody, does anybody want to say anything about the building? I see Bill Mason sitting here. He's excited about the building, and I'll tell you, Bill can give you a little history about the building downtown. Down there, Bill and his family did a wonderful job. He's a good real estate broker. I'll just tell you that. He bought that building downtown, the old post office, real cheap for us. $1 a year for how many years?
For as many years you've had it.
I don't know how many. Well, 30 years. Jeff's over there saying 30 years. So if you want to buy a house, there's a good agent for you right there. But I'm looking around the room and I see a lot of good people. Jeff Anderson leaning against the wall. Jeff, please raise your hand over there, our school treasurer. Jeff, again, I appreciate when I walked into Jeff, because adding a building project on to what you already do in a district of 6,400 kids and 800 employees, and then you throw on a $140 million building project, and then ask Jeff, hey, how about another $4 million? And Jeff smiled, and I'll tell you, he takes care of our funds here. And Christian, you won't get your final check until he is completely happy. I'm going to let you know that already, don't you? That way. But let's give Jeff a hand for his work here in the district. And then if you are an employee of the Newark City Schools that work in this building, please stand up. That means you, Marilyn Johnston. I know you're sitting over there. Yeah, Gloria. I want you to look around, because this group of employees, this group of people, not only do a great job at what they do for our kids in the district, but this was a big process for us, because we planned this building. Took the time to design your own areas and then move and do all that. And they really worked very hard and did not complain for the most part. Kept it away from me from there. And so it's a special group of people that work very hard and are very efficient in their jobs. And really the last year, particularly the last 3 or 4 months, have really worked hard with moving and those kind of things. So let's give them a hand. Thank you for you guys. Yeah. And a lot of what you'll see tonight when you walk around is a lot of things are their little special touches from that standpoint. So how about the LACA, and I should have mentioned this when we were here, LACA and the ESC people really worked hard in moving too. We really started with LACA moving in their stuff, and then we kind of moved. We recognized this summer in July that Jeff wins the paydays. We're going to move Jeff's group first, because if somebody misses a file, we'll find that. But if you don't have a paycheck, then we're going to get calls. And so we kind of moved in that way, and Dave and Barbara and myself kind of moved in at the end. And you'll see when you go around, we're still not completely settled the way we want it, but we're pretty much there. And so, again, board members, did I leave anything out? I don't want to walk away from here and somebody say, Tom? Oh, yeah, let's recognize. If you were a former staff member here or a former student here, please stand up. You're going to be excited. Just right here. Are you excited tonight about going? Yeah. I already met some. Yeah, let's give them a hand. Yeah. Yeah. I already had somebody say they're going to sprint up the steps like they did when they were younger, right? You say that? Couldn't believe there's an elevator down there, could you? Yeah. You're going to ride the elevator. Okay. All right. If I would like a couple of you, former students or staff here, along with a few board members, to come up front, and we'll cut this ribbon. And I'm going to tell you, it's the last ribbon that we're going to cut for a long, long time around here. How about a few of you come on up, please?
He was the principal.
Oh.
Was the principal. Yeah.
Oh, wow, Mr. Kaiser, you got to come up. Come on up. Absolutely. I can't get this on. Yeah, if you're a former principal, you have to come up front. Oh, there she is, Beth, yeah. I bet some of those former principals wish they'd had something like this a few years ago, huh? Dan or Bev, whomever. Come on up, Tom. Tom Blind, come on up. Dave, whomever else. Christian, Mark, Tom, whomever. Come on up. Come on in here. How about John? John Bowers, come on up from LACA. Somebody from the ESC, I know Nelson's not here. One of the board members want to come up?
Dean, want to come up?
Dean, Dean, come on up. Somebody come up from the ESC. Yes. Okay, we'll wait on Dean. Dean's making his way up front. Mr. Kaiser, help out here.
Story of my life, I'm slow.
Come on in here, Dean. How about, Dan, you want to put a hand in here? There, okay. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, as noted, there is an elevator. Old guys like me, I like to give tours. I take an elevator to the top floor and then I walk you down. Feel free to walk around the building. Our staff will be around the building and enjoy. And keep this in mind when you're going around. Most of the classrooms don't look like they did before.
Oh, good thing I talked to you.
Are still,
I would have been.
Let me make sure it's not that many.
thanks, Mark.
Excellent, thank you.